Good morning, friends. Welcome post Christmas. I hope everyone had a great holiday. I'm just waiting for my live stream to catch up here. Apparently, Facebook's kind of slow. All right, good afternoon, friends. So, after the holidays, hopefully everyone had a fantastic Christmas. I know that our household definitely had a good one. My fiance actually gave me the best present ever. He paid the fee for me to do the book to screen package with the production company that I'm speaking with. What that does is it allows the producer to read your entire book before you have your one-on-one meeting. At first, I wasn't going to do this package. I was just going to go with the 8-page synopsis. However, when I was doing edits on the book, I truly realized that the real star of my book, although the story is great and I love it, the true star are the characters, like the depth of those characters. And I felt that in order to give it the best possible shot, the producer needed to know those characters inside and out, and see how developed they are. You can only do that through reading the book. You can't do that through an 8-page synopsis, not really. So, I mean, that was excellent, wonderful Christmas present because he's amazing. So last night I got all my information from Voyage, the production company. So I did my little blurb. It's like 3 or 4 sentences to sum up your entire book, which is very unnerving. Took a little bit of practice. There's a lot to package in there, but I can read it for you guys real quick if you would like. So let me get to the start of this application of mine. So, Bloodlily is a thriller featuring forensic expert Lilith Adams, and although she isn't human, her monotonous life leaves her wishing for a real mystery. When her uncle disappears, Lilith's doting father sends security agent Chance Devereaux with her to investigate. Every turn reveals increasingly disturbing facts about her father, leading to a vengeful secret buried for 600 years. To survive, they seek the aid of a powerful new ally, but trusting him could be their biggest mistake. Dun dun dun! So, hi Joanne, good to see you. Hope you had a good Christmas. So that's my little blurb intro, and then I had to select like which categories I feel like my book fits, which is really thriller, mystery, horror. If they had paranormal or supernatural, I would have put that, but they didn't. And they ask what kind of categories of projects you're looking for this. And I marked that it could be a feature thriller or a feature horror movie, honestly. A studio feature, definitely not an indie flick. Not with some of the stuff I pull off in the book. Or a scripted TV drama, technically. And then I also added like Amazon Prime or Netflix series. Because, I mean, honestly, that's probably what I really, really want to see is a series. So then after that, I had to do a 3-page summary of everything that happens in the book. In 3 pages. It's painful. Oh my gosh, it's so painful to take this 354-page book and squash it into 3 pages and somehow still tell the story. So I managed to do that. I finished and wrapped it up this morning. So my whole application is ready to go. So the only thing I'm waiting on now is I have to do my final read through of the book, glossing the little tiny things that are left over, which is not much. I just finished recording chapter 4. I'm still editing it, and then I'll upload it to YouTube. So you should see it later on today. Yay! Exciting. And yeah, so all the edits are in on book 1. They're done. Like, I actually was scared to set the goal for myself of finishing by New Year's, at least putting the edits in by New Year's, but I did it in record time. So now it's just the final gloss. And I have to tell you guys, ladies, I mentioned this yesterday on Facebook and a couple places, but whew, if you guys fell for Chance before, it's going to be so much better this time. I added a couple little pieces here and there. although I did take a lot away from the book because it wound up being just barely over 140,000 words compared to the original edition, which was over 167,000 words. So I cut a lot, but I did add a few things, and they're just magical. They're magical. It's fantastic. I love it. Yeah, I definitely love Chance way more than I did before. Like, I always, had a soft spot for him, of course, but like, the banter's still the same. The banter's still good, but there's more poignant moments later on in the book that I think people will really, really enjoy. And a couple little comments that, yeah, they're romantic, but they're not super cheesy romantic. They're just, they're Chance. It's adorable. I love it. Like, okay, I'll give you guys one. So, in Phipps Bend, after Lilith saves Chance's life, and she's like setting him up in the room and stuff and making sure he's okay and stable, he asks her, he's like, was it the blood loss, or did I hear you say that you loved me? And she kind of like gets really embarrassed and was just like, well, I thought you were dying, and like, and he just chuckles a little bit and looks at her and he says, it only took 13 years and a chest wound for you to catch up. It's adorable. I still get goosebumps. I love it. Oh, you found your original books. That's awesome, Joanne. That's cool. See, maybe one day they'll be worth money. Who knows? So also in other news, I did start soft edits on Rose of Jericho. Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 are printed out, and I'm like, I think most of the way through Chapter 1, I think, on soft edits. I haven't started putting them in the computer yet because I really want to finish glossing over Blood Lily while I have a chance. Because my final gloss is going to be reading the book out loud to myself, because that's how I'm going to catch other errors. It's going to take a little time. And just so you guys know, I will not be reading all of Blood Lily for my YouTube channel, because I can't give everything away for free. But I am going to try and do a decent number of chapters at least to at least get to the action. Which, I mean, there's some action early on, but most of it is towards the middle and later parts of the book. So I think probably I'll get to maybe Mariah's discovery. Thereabouts. So, yeah, lots of exciting, wonderful things. Yeah. And just so you guys know, I am now in season 4 of Beauty and the Beast. I have to agree that season 3 was not stellar, and season 4 is odd so far. Season 2 is definitely the best, and season 1, although cheesy, had some wonderful moments. So, I'm still watching it though. It's fine. We'll see what happens. Talking about software today. So I know this is mostly geared towards people who write, not so much to just fans of the books. But that's one of my goals with these videos too, is to educate, and maybe if there's other people out there that want to write, helping them out, I mean, when I first started writing, I was lost on so much stuff. Like, I didn't know anything about editing programs. I had no idea how to set up a template in Word, or page sizes, or how to format a book cover for a certain page count, which I still don't know how to do, because Chris does all of that for me because he's amazing. But I just give him the page count and he works magic. But I really wish I had known about these editing programs way sooner, because then I wouldn't have gone through 4 different editions of Blood Lily. Maybe I had only gone through 1. That would have been great. So I would tell you, hands down, the best program to start working with for someone who writes nonfiction is AutoCrit. There are pluses and minuses with AutoCrit, however. So AutoCrit is a web-based program, which means you have to take your book and put it into AutoCrit. The best way to do this is chapter by chapter, because if you put an entire book in there, it takes a while. So I go chapter by chapter. The advantage that Autocrit has over every other program is that you can be very specific down to the type of genre that you write. So I mark mine as a thriller mystery. And then it will actually search through your book, through those chapters, and tell you all kinds of things. Like it will rate you on word usage. It will rate you on using pronouns as your first word in a sentence, how many times you do that. It will determine pacing, especially based on genre. So a thriller needs to be a faster pace than, say, like a drama or a romance or something like that. It actually recognizes the motivation behind certain words. Like it'll give you a percentage of how many words produce fear and how many words produce attraction and things like that. How many are hopeful. There's so many metrics that it measures on. Filler words, non-specific words that, you know, just generic descriptions like good, large, big, you know, boring things. It will also rate your show versus tell, and that's a big, huge one, and using passive voice. So those things are kryptonite to fiction writers. Like you want to keep people immersed in the action, so you need to show them what's going on instead of just telling them and info dumping. So the amount of metrics and the way that it's very tailored towards fiction writing is what makes Autocrit the best. However, I have not found a way that you can actually just use Autocrit. Like I have to take my things from Word, put them in Autocrit, after I print out the pages, I highlight everything on the summary reports and the pacing reports and stuff onto this paper, do the edits, and then put them back into Word. Because you can't really format and do the things that you need to do in Autocrit, like page numbers and stuff like that. So in that case, it is kind of limiting. So I use multiple programs. At first, I was using Autocrit, and then I would put it back into Word, and then I started using Grammarly, which is free, to catch any like minor things like spelling and things like that, and grammatical errors, punctuation, things like that. But I still felt like something was missing. I tried using the actual editor in Word. It's not reliable. It's outdated. I would not suggest even using it, because Grammarly has been proven time and time again to be more accurate when it comes to grammar and spelling and things like that over Word Editor, that you'll wind up making changes that Grammarly will just tell you to undo. And it missed a bunch. I won't lie. The editor missed a bunch. So then I actually upgraded to the Grammarly Premium, even though I have Autocrit, because I wanted another net. I wanted to make sure I caught everything. And I'll tell you that Grammarly still caught a lot. The Grammarly Plus. The Premium does more than just simple grammar and stuff like that. It identifies passive voice, past perfect tense. It makes suggestions based on conciseness and to make your sentences less wordy. So it helped a lot. So I went through with Grammarly Premium as well. And now when I'm doing the actual reading out loud, which I definitely suggest, the problem with not reading out loud, with just reading the words on the screen, is that as writers, at least I have this problem, when it's in my head will automatically fill in errors or missing words because I'm not saying it out loud. It just fills in my head, and then I miss things. So as I'm speaking out loud, I catch other things. So far, it hasn't been anything technical. Like in chapter 4, I found two or three things. One was like an adjective that I didn't need. It made the sentence unnecessarily wordy, so I took it out. Another thing was actually when Chance said that the person who attacked her jumped through the window. Well, it's not the window, it's the door. So I caught that, you know, but software is not going to catch that. That's a consistency in the story thing. That's my job. So there are pluses and minuses. The thing with Grammarly, though, is that it is not meant specifically for fiction writers. So it will not identify show versus tell. It will not identify pacing. Those things are exclusive to AutoCrit, and I've not found any other software that will do that. So for me, the best combination is those two things. And yes, they cost money. I won't lie. To get the most out of AutoCrit, it's a monthly fee, and it's $30 a month, which is a lot. However, I'm writing all the time right now. I'm using it all the time, so I do get my money's worth out of it. You can always suspend your membership. Like if you go through a period where you're not writing and you don't want to spend the money, I mean, you can always suspend your membership and stuff and then restart, which I would consider if I was taking a break, which currently I don't see happening because I have so much on my plate right now. And I'm almost completely done with Blood Lily. I'm so super proud of it. It's a million times better than it was. I just can't express how much love and attention went into this book. Yeah, it's just damn awesome. So I'm really happy, and I'm extremely optimistic about my odds of landing a producer. I'm kind of torn between two right now because I do have to choose one from their website. There's Joan Mao, who I'm leaning heavily towards. She did quite a few things, including The Expendables. She was a producer on there as well. So she's not unfamiliar with action and stuff like that too. But then there's also what was her name? Let me look again because my brain's blanking. Kathleen McLaughlin, who did Salt, was one of the big movies that she was on. She was a producer on, which strong female kick-ass role, which is cool. So I'm kind of leaning between those two. Haven't really decided which one I want to go with yet, but I have some time. I have, like I said, everything's together for the action plan submission form. So that's done. All I have to do is get the cover art from Chris. So Chris, I will find you. I have to get the cover art from you, at least just not the whole cover, but the front picture. And then I have to put Blood Lily, the finished product, into a PDF form, and then I can send everything off to them. So exciting. And for Emily out there, because she is my very first original test bunny and I love her so much, I'm going to send her the PDF copy as well, because I have to have an opinion on it before I go to print. So as far as printing goes and release goes for the book, I'm still kind of on the fence. So part of me really wants to wait until this meeting with the producer and to get their thoughts on what I should do print wise, because I would really love it to be in bookstores. If that's something that they can help me with, then cool. If not, then I really want to take another look at Fulton Books. I think it's Fulton. I have to check my email. But the book publisher that I talked to when I was in COVID quarantine, they do have like a payment plan. And the best part about that company in particular is, unlike any other company that I've talked with, which has been quite a few, is that, yes, you pay this money up front for their services, of course. It's way more common than I ever thought. The whole age of like advances for books, it doesn't really truly exist anymore, except for extremely famous authors that already have tons of money. It's just a guarantee they're going to write you another one. That's all it is. So so it's extremely common for especially these hybrid publishers to have you pay money up front. The difference with this company, though, is that after that happens, they don't take any royalties until the author has earned all of that money back, and then they start sharing profits. Also, this company has zero claim to any movie or TV rights on the book. None whatsoever. They will not make anything off of that. Their job solely is book publishing. So I won't have to share anything with them if it gets picked up by a producer, which I'm super confident it's going to happen, guys. I really am. Like, I don't see how it could not happen. Someone is going to love this project as much as I do, as much as you, the fans out there, love it. I just know it's a good fit. Um, yeah, it's a great story with amazing characters that I'm very, very proud of. It's just it really hit home when I was working on this version that Lilith and Chance are really my split personalities. Lilith is the logical, awkward side, and Chance is the absolute hopeless romantic buried deep down. Like, they really are like the polar opposites of what's already in my head. Cohen's kind of the middle ground. He plays both sides of the fence, and I love it. But it's really awesome and amazing. Speaking of awesome and amazing, by the way, for anyone out there that's a comic book fan, right now on HBO Max, they have Batman versus Superman, the extended edition. While I still hate the name, and they should have gone with the name Doomsday, which is what the director originally wanted to call it. Because Batman vs. Superman sounds stupid. Just saying it out loud sounds stupid. But if you watch the extended edition, the director's cut, so much better, and it makes so much more sense. And for once, when I watched that movie, I honestly did not think of Superman as a whiny bitch. For like the first time ever. Well, not ever. The first time since Christopher Reeve, because I loved him. He was adorable. But the one thing I do have to complain about that movie still to this day is how the hell can you even expect Henry Cavill to look like a nerd? Like, I'm sorry. Glasses and a sport jacket over a plaid shirt, he's still fucking hot. Like, it doesn't make sense to think that like, the editors constantly, like, picking on him for being a nerd. Or, like, how? Hi, Dutchie. I did have a great Christmas. I hope you did as well. It was really cool. I got this lovely necklace and earrings from my soon-to-be mother-in-law for Christmas, which was really cool. The boys absolutely loved their presents. Kay is, like, over the moon with his favorite present, which is it's a Grogu doll, which is Baby Yoda. I know Baby Yoda is the incorrect term. The child. Grogu. But it's one that you touch its head, and it's like ears move, its eyes open and close, like his whole body moves, his ears twitch, his hand raises up and he uses the force. Like, it's adorable and amazing. And I don't know why the hell we didn't have crap like this when I was a kid. Because I kind of want one now. It's really cool. I love watching it. And when you lay him down, his eyes close, he makes a little snore sound, and then he stops doing anything. He just goes to sleep. It's cute, and I love it. River got a new tablet from Nanny and Papa, which was cool. Hopefully this one survives and doesn't get broken. So yeah, I'm super excited and optimistic about everything going on with the books. It's really awesome. I'm going to continue editing the video I did for chapter 4. So it should be up on YouTube later today. If I have extra time, depending on when Eric comes home, I might actually just start reading chapter 5 too. Oh, he was in the Tudors. I didn't know he was in the Tudors. I remember the guy who played the main character in the Tudors, he also did like a very short, I think it was only one season, TV series of Dracula, which was really good. And I'm very disappointed that it ended. It was pretty neat. I liked it. But yes, he is gorgeous. And honestly, like, if we weren't getting into time crunch issues here, like, he wouldn't be a half bad chance. Although he's a little muscular for the part. Like, the man has some amazing shoulders. Like, you can't hide those. He definitely doesn't have the lean kind of, yeah, thing going on. But it's fine. Like, he'd be a decent chance. But he's, Like most actors, you know, they are subject to time as well as the rest of us humans. When I was watching Superman vs. Batman last night, actually, um, I really thought about Amy Adams, and if she was a little younger, she would be a good Lilith. Like, I could definitely see it. She's smart and cute and delicate, but kind of a badass, too. I could see her playing Lilith. It'd be cool. But, you know, people age. So I have to start looking younger. Because you have to keep in mind that in Blood Lily, Lilith is 27 and Chance is 30. Like, he's 3 years older than her. So, yeah, and it doesn't change much through the books. Because, like I said, Rose of Jericho happens immediately following Blood Lily. Like, Blood Lily goes right into Rose of Jericho. Which Rose of Jericho is going to get some heavy edits so far, because I'm in chapter 1 and I'm just like, whew, like the emotional instability between the two of them is just, it's a little much. So I have to kind of, I don't know, ground it a little bit. Like, I mean, she has reason to feel like gut-wrenching awkwardness after this whole experience with Chance, and then some siren that thinks she's Marilyn Monroe waltzing in and like singing a few notes, and then like he's just blissfully following her every command. Yeah, it's not cool. It's not cool. It's the closest I'll ever get to a love triangle, though, I'll tell you that. It's not a love triangle. He has no choice. It sucks. But that's what's difficult for Lilith, is like she can't really hold him responsible for that because he didn't have any choice. Makes for dangerous ground. Just fun. You know. I mean, that's the thing. Relationships go through phases. They go through different problems and stuff. And we're talking about two different people that neither of them have good experiences when it comes to relationships. And nobody really, until book 3, realizes how bad Lilith has had it in the relationship department, because it's teased about in book 1, and it will be teased about in book 2 about something that happened in college, but you won't find out the story until book 3. But she has her reasons for being standoffish and reluctant to be in a relationship too. So, Jonathan Rhys-Meyers played Dracula and King Henry. Yes, that's who I'm talking about. He's a pretty nice looking dude himself. Which his character was best and closest friend. Huh. Yeah, I only watched a couple episodes of The Tudors because my pseudo brother was like really into it at the time. Of course, at that time I wasn't really into historical fiction, and I was just kind of like, oh. But I'd probably appreciate it now, honestly. So that might be my next project to watch after I finish with Beauty and the Beast. I'm still rooting for Jay Ryan to play Chance, though. He is adorable. And he's young enough to still do it. I think after I'm done with Beauty and the Beast, I'll watch It Part 2. And then I'll have my Jay Ryan fix. And maybe I'll move on to The Tudors, because I think that's on Netflix right now, or Amazon Prime, or one of those. I have a lot of streaming services now. Because we have Netflix, Amazon Prime, Peacock, HBO Max. We do not have Hulu. That's about the only one we don't have. So, speaking of HBO Max, though, they have, you know, Wonder Woman 1984. So here's my little review on that. Pedro Pascal, he plays the Mandalorian, by the way, which is one of my favorite shows of all time now. He is exquisite and fantastic. Like, he is such a gifted actor, and he definitely does not phone it in on this role. Like, it completely embodies his role as a bad guy. Like, it's fantastic. However, wow, the cheese factor in this movie. The cheese factor in this movie is probably only rivaled by, what was it? The sequel to The Amazing Spider-Man, where Jamie Foxx was like this nerdy scientist, like over the top, stereotypical nerdy. Like, that's how Kristen Wiig starts out. Like, it's beyond belief ridiculous. And then she turns super hot and super cool. And although she does a great job acting, it's just like the whole movie is supposed to bring back this nostalgia for the 80s, like Stranger Things. However, in Stranger Things, you're just submerged in the world and experience it as if you're in 1984 or 1980s, whatever. In Wonder Woman, they kind of like shove everything in your face and they're like, hey, look, this is the 80s. Look at this is the 80s. Look at this, it's from the 80s. Like, it's not organic, it's just weird. Like, so all in all, not an enormous fan of the movie, unfortunately, because I loved the first Wonder Woman movie. I really felt at the time that that was the first great DC movie made. However, I went back yesterday and watched the Superman movie, Henry Cavill's first Superman movie, which is really, really good, actually. Like, Zack Snyder is a great director. Like, he's not given near enough credit. Great movie. And then when I saw the director's cut of Batman vs. Superman, like, everything made so much more sense. It was fantastic, and I definitely recommend it. And it was so dark and just gutsy. I loved it. It was great. So I'm kind of rethinking the DC thing. Just saying. But yeah, Wonder Woman, the movie, was a disappointment. It could have been so amazing. They had a lot of the raw materials there, but that script needed some work. Just saying. Viking series coming back. Oh yeah. Okay, I didn't know he was in the Viking series. I haven't watched that either, but it's been highly recommended to me, and I should probably watch that too. I've heard really good things. And anything that a Skarsgård's in, I'm up for watching. So I know one of Alexander's brothers is in that too, so they seem to be everywhere. They're like the new Baldwins. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to wrap it up, but I'm really glad that I got to share this time with you guys. I have missed this. It's been a long holiday season. Oh, but I am really excited about everything going on. And I was so extremely giddy yesterday when I put in the very last edit, the last line, and I was like, oh, and done. And instead of saying the end, I actually tabbed down a couple, like pressed enter a few times and put to be continued, ... So, yay, book 2. So that's what I'm going to be on to after I finish this final read through of Blood Lily. Really excited to share it with you guys. Maybe I'll do some kind of contest or something and see if maybe one special lucky person will get a PDF of Blood Lily. Besides Emily, she gets us automatically because that's her right as my very, very first test bunny. She, you know, she gets special treatment. When is it coming? That's the only thing I don't know at this point because I really want to do this meeting with the producer first and see what their thoughts are on printing. If it's not something they can help me with, then talking to the publishers, talking about and maybe setting that up. But I'm hoping that at least by maybe this summer I can have it out. Just depending on how things go with those meetings. Worst comes to worst, I'll just self-publish it again. Like, I mean, that's always still an option. So I know Chris said he's working on the cover, even though I have to give him the absolute final page count, which shouldn't change because of the placement of everything. Any edits I do now are going to be very tiny, so that shouldn't affect the page count at all. But just to be safe, you know, I want to get through the read-through. But yeah. So hopefully soon. That's my answer. And then I'm like I said, already working on book 2. So I'm going to keep plugging away. The soft edits might be a little bit slower going forward because I won't be able to do those at work anymore. I was doing that during my downtime at work, but I got a promotion. So now I am a full-time house supervisor on the floor, which means I have to lead by example and not do book editing at work. So I have to be a good girl and do all my book editing at home. So, which I'm sure like thrills my fiance because I'm like always in front of my computer now. But that's okay. He's a good guy. He understands. So, I hope you guys have had a wonderful holiday, and I hope you guys have a happy, happy new year. I have the wonderful feeling that 2021 is going to be a really big year. Like, it's going to be epic. I want everyone to stay safe. As a nurse, I will tell you that COVID is no joke. It's very real. At first, I was very reluctant about getting the vaccine that my company is offering, but my fiance has persuaded me to go ahead and get it. So when it's offered, I will be getting the vaccine because I'm at high risk for exposure in the kind of job that I do as a nurse. Even as a house supervisor, I'm going to be in patients' rooms all the time and stuff, especially when patients are coding, which is when you're at the most risk. So to keep my family and friends safe, I'm willing to do that, and hopefully it's not the start of the zombie apocalypse. Yes, already a happy new year. Like, it's gonna be awesome. I'm really excited about this producer meeting. I can't wait. I can't wait. I know it's gonna be a project that someone wants to pick up. I just know it in my bones. So until next week, guys, I'm gonna let you go. Like I said, look out for chapter 4 later today. I will post the link, of course, as I always do, on the Facebook page, as well as on my website. And yes, the vaccine's better than getting sick. At first, I wasn't going to take it because I've already had COVID back in March. Beginning of March, I had COVID, and it sucked, and it was awful, and I felt like I was going to die. Unfortunately, or fortunately for me, I mean, it wasn't like severe enough where I was on a ventilator in the hospital or anything, but it still sucked. And I'm slowly starting to get my singing voice back now, like 9 months later. But I still have shortness of breath and issues. But past the 3-month mark, there have been incidences of reinfection. So, I mean, you can't be too safe. And there are new strains out there. Chris was telling me that they have like a mutated strain there in England that's spreading faster. So they had to go into complete lockdown again. So hopefully that's not... Hopefully that doesn't happen here, although, you know, there are lockdowns in place already. So I want you guys to all stay safe. Do your part, please. Wear a mask outside. It's not just for you, it's for everybody else too. I know that a lot of people are concerned about personal freedoms. I do understand that. Trust me, I do. I've seen V for Vendetta as well. But it's also about, you know, protecting your fellow humans and doing your part to be part of the solution instead of part of the problem. So just take that into consideration for what it's worth. Okay. So till next week, you guys, stay safe. Have a great time. Enjoy your New Year's. Celebrate the end of 2020, the weirdest year in history. And I will talk to you guys later. All right.